Zigal. I can't click my heels. Click your heels 3 times. All right, so yes, that means, so everybody's ready. The chapter, so we're going to finish up. So we finished chapter 9. And tonight we're going to do the review questions, and then we start chapter 10. So, because that's where we are. That's what we're doing. Whether you're ready or not, that's what we are doing. So I'm hoping everybody's ready. I'm not going to try to put anybody on Front Street. Okay, so, but here's what we will ask, Pat, just in case, the blank sheets, Brother Patrick Thomas, they're right there on the, you see right there, just in case someone does not have their sheet and would like to have one. If you do not have a, well, 2 things. Does everyone have a book? Okay. Okay. Dolly, do we have one extra book? Oh, she never got it. She never got her book back. Oh, Rachel? Yeah. Oh, and Steve, well, Steve doesn't have one because Brother Steve doesn't have one. This is his first time in the class. All right. You don't have to let her boss you around if you don't want to. Don't let her boss you around. Yes, you were. Hey, Steve, did she ask you or did she tell you? You tell the truth, huh? I know. I heard all the way up here. Hey, Steve, she said, go sit up there by Patrick.
He said that with her behind him.
I know. I heard her all the way up front. Yeah, you know. She'll hit me tomorrow. But she ain't gonna hit me right now. Not in front of y'all.
Do it on the camera.
Oh, she knows where to hit where there are no cameras. Yeah, she'll hit me in the office where there are no cameras. All right, so number 1, chapter 9. Let's get these out of the way so we can get into chapter 10. Less recognized in some segments of universal religion is the blank Jesus Christ. Authority of, that is correct, is the authority of. It's amazing. Those of you who are listening, if you listen to our radio program on Sunday morning, this is one of the things we're dealing with right now. In Catholicism, they talk about that they respect Jesus, but they don't recognize his authority in reality. All right. Number 2. Christ blank before the universe existed, his incarnate blank as God's Son in the present order of things, and his authority as it will be after this blank world has been blank. So who has the first 2 fill in the blanks?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. All right. So, James was trying to get it out, Anthony. Then you jerk. I'm like, wait, I heard something. Okay. So the first 2 are eternal authority. All right. His incarnate, James?
Incarnate
Authority. Third blank is authority. Who has will be after this.
Material.
Very good, Jerry. Material world has been obliterated. So it would read, Christ's eternal authority before the universe existed, his incarnate authority as God's Son in the present order of things, and his authority as it will be after this material world has been obliterated or done away with. Number 3, One aspect of Christ not appreciated is his role in the blank blank. Penny, original creation, all right? Original creation, okay? Number 4, the apostle contended that it is by the blank blank Christ that, quote, blank 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 blank, Colossians 1:17, English Standard Version. So I don't want everybody, so raise your hand who wants to handle this one, first part of this one. Who wants to do the first part? Pat Cook. By the authority of Christ, that who wants to do the latter part of this one? Raise your hand. Anthony? All things hold together. Colossians chapter 1, verse 17. All right. Numero 5. Christ blank of blank, therefore was blank to and blank with that of his blank. So who wants to do the first blank? Jerry?
Exercise.
Yes, Christ's exercise of what? Somebody? James? Authority. Therefore was, who's got the next one? Penny? Yes, subservient. subservient. To and next? Jerry? Consistent with that of his class? Fathers. John 5:30 and John 6:38. In essence, his exercise of his authority was in harmony with that of the Father. That's what Jesus said. He said that he doesn't do anything except that which the Father has instructed him. He can of himself do nothing, only that which the Father has directed him he will do. His will is not to do his own will, but the will of the Father who sent him. John 6:38. Now remember, number 6, remember I told you, you will not find this exactly. So if you're looking for this statement in the book, you're not going to find it. But I gave you this for. So Brother Jackson presents blank uses of Christ's authority as the Son of Man. What's the answer? 6. That is correct. I know. I'm like, okay. I said question. That's number 6. It just so happens. But I didn't plan it that way. It just worked out that way. Yeah. It just worked out that way. I am not that smart. I am not that cunning that I could plan that. Dolly or Jerry might be that devious, but I'm not. All right. That's it, Penny. Hey, if I'm gonna, that's right. If I'm gonna get a whooping, I might as well. That's right. Go all in. Go all in. You know, if I'm gonna take it. Number 7. Number 7. Woo. One of the most blank in the community of, quote, Christendom, close quote, is a failure to blank distinguish between the blank of the Old Testament and that of the New Testament. So the first part of number 7, one of the most prominent errors in the community of Christendom is a failure to properly distinguish between the purpose of the Old Testament and that of the New Testament. So prominent errors, first two, then properly, the next blank, and then purpose, P-U-R-P-O-S-E. Number 8, the blank of blank was generously blank in the blank blank. All right, the what? The authority of whom? Christ was generously previewed where? In the Old Testament. Authority, Christ, previewed, Old Testament. So as Paul would say, whatever things are written aforetime, Jesus said in Luke 24, those things which are written through in the law, the Psalms, and the prophets concerning me. Number 9, as Christ blank during his personal ministry, he emphatically declared that the blank of his inspired blank would carry the same blank as his own. So what's the first blank in number 9? Taught. That is correct. As Christ taught during his personal ministry, he emphatically declared that the messages of his inspired representatives would carry the same weight as his own. So that Jesus inspired the apostles, he promised that he would guide them into all truth, and the things that they would say would have the same effect of as if he had said it. Again, we are trying to help our Catholic listeners understand that what this means, and that Jesus did not set Peter apart, and that only his words would carry more weight than any of the other apostles, and that and this is missed, and I hope that you will pay attention. We address this Sunday, Lord willing, in the program. The apostles could only speak that which was already revealed in heaven. Matthew 16, verse 19, emphatically teaches that they only could make known what heaven had already made known, and they could only bind that which heaven had already bound. No apostle could create law or doctrine of themselves. Even Jesus made this point clear. He said, I only speak what the Father commanded me to speak. John 12, 48 through 50. And so we have these folk today who are creating religious dogma, and they're doing something that Jesus didn't even do. Number 10, we blank must recognize that the blank of the Son of God is blank in the inspired instruction of the blank blank. All right, first one. Okay, we absolutely must recognize that the authority of the Son of God is resident in the inspired instruction of the New Testament. Absolutely, authority, resident, New Testament. The authority does not rest outside of the Word of God. And so There is no authority in any so-called councils of men. There is no authority in any so-called magisterium, catechism, conclave, you name it, doesn't exist. All right, so that's the end of chapter 9. And Anthony, go ahead, and there we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are now beginning a new chapter in our study of Jesus, the Master Teacher. And we're talking about Jesus, the compassionate teacher. So, page 83, as we get ready to begin. All right, we're all on 83. The world of the first century was virtually void of any sense of compassion. Brutality lurked in every dark corner. Babies were violently expelled from their mothers' wombs, and the newly born were murdered without pangs of conscience, especially if visibly deformed, or, as often was the case, if girls. We cringe and we talk about abortion as if it has never happened before. And that doesn't mean that we still should not, every generation has to work against it and expose it for what it is. But this kind of immorality, this kind of sin has been going on and will continue to happen. And we have to continue to show the ugliness of it and the sinful nature of it. But in the first century, it was happening as well. We're going to define a couple of words in a minute. We're going to look at deeply the word compassion in a moment. I'm going to hold off right for a moment. Most of the Roman Empire was its citizens were some type of slave. Just a matter of history. Majority of Romans, of those who were in the empire, were slaves. There's a word that Brother Jackson uses here, and I need to make sure before we even read this next sentence that we all understand the definition of this next word before we even go any further. What does the word chattel mean? And if you don't know, just say, you know, I don't know. Don't. Owned property. Okay, yeah. Literally, a movable possession. Chattel simply means a movable possession. So Jerry, you said owned property. So chattel, just a movable possession. Or property that you're the owner of it, you can move it wherever you want to. Slaves in the first century were considered chattel, meaning property that you can move. You decide to relocate from Rome and you want to go out to the province. All right, you took all your property with you, your horses, and your slaves. And so slaves were chattel to be disposed of at will. Herod the Great was not a novel example when he murdered his beloved Mary. I don't have my glasses on down here. Mariamne, one of his 10 wives, and later their sons, Aristobulus and Alexander. And of course, there was that infamous slaughter of the Bethlehem babies in Matthew chapter 2 and verse 16, which was important, because what event occurred at that time? Yeah, and so he was told, God directed Joseph to leave a particular community because of what Herod was doing. Brother Cook, go ahead and take that next paragraph.
In Rome, fiendish crowds chanted for the blood of gladiatorial combatants as they vied for victory in the amphitheater. Hundreds would taunt victims undergoing the agony of crucifixion with no sense of sympathy stirred. Even some of the Greek and Roman philosophers lamented the insensitivity of that calloused moral environment.
Yeah, so in the Roman Colosseum, known for this, so the gladiator would be ready, he have his foot on the neck, on the body of his victim. He's beating him, and then he would walk around and, what say ye, in essence? And if it was a thumbs up, what happened? He lived to fight again. If they did this, he died. And almost universally, history says, if the victims were Christians, they never got this. They always got, which is why, as we read toward the end of the New Testament, we talk about the blood of those who were slaughtered. Go ahead, finish that next paragraph, Brother Pat Cook.
Yet in ministry that spanned but 3.5 years and was limited to a small region between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea, an area smaller than the state of Massachusetts, Jesus Christ taught the crowds day by day. In so doing, his example, along with daily instruction, gave new meaning to the term compassion.
Yeah, I put the, Anthony, just darken the first row so they can see the screen a little bit better. Just darken the ceiling lights just a little bit. There you go. So you see the region of Galilee there on the screen, and that's the region where Jesus did most of his teaching. That little small, in that region of Galilee. He did, he went down a little bit, did some teaching down toward Caesarea, but most of his teaching in just a little small area in the center. Yeah, in the center. Yeah. Penny, help her out. Hey, Penny, she's she ate too much sugar. I know what happened. I need to go in there and count, see how many. How many did you eat today? Dolly. Oh, Dolly. No wonder you had me to hide them. You weren't hiding them from me. You were hiding them for you. See, normally I dish it out for her so that she doesn't get too much sugar. But I'm going to have to lock them up now. I'm going to lock it up. Ooh, you ate 6 of those today? Oh, Lord have mercy. What'd you say? They're Gordivas. Okay, all right. You know what? You kind of defend Miss Dolly. All right. So think about this. Jesus, we've already learned that he came on and he dealt with the Jews, and he said, you've heard it said already as he dealt with them with regards to here's what the law, you've said this, you think the law says this, but here's what I say. And so now he's going to come and he is going to help them to understand a principle that is embedded, by the way, in the Old Testament. But they have failed to remember it. And as we talk about it, several Old Testament passages will probably come to mind. But he's going to show them and show us, here is what heaven really means, and here's what we are to emphasize with it. Anthony, I'm not able to move, Anthony. Advance me. Yep, now, all right, there we go. So, we're going to look at, Brother Jackson has a real good Greek, a broader definition, but I want you to, compassion, I did this, and that's my fault. I changed the color of the screen thinking that it was going to help, but it didn't. Simply, it is a feeling of deep sympathy or sorrow for another who is stricken by misfortune. Yeah, I know, Jerry, it's my fault. Anthony, I'll turn the lights back up for a minute. Let me see something. Nope, turn it back down. Turn them down. Turn down, turn down. Go ahead. Yep. There we go. Yeah, okay. That better? Yeah, call myself. I took the white out and I put the green in thinking that would be better. That was my fault. It looks, sometimes on the laptop it looks one way, and then when we put it on the display, it changes a little bit, so I have to work with that. And that's important. So I tried to narrow this definition down, accompanied by a strong desire to alleviate suffering, compassion. It's associated by the words loving kindness, mercy, pity. Now, as Wayne says in his book, the Greek terms for compassion in their combined noun and verbal forms occur some 23 times in the New Testament. The noun splanchon 11 times denotes a feeling of affection, tenderness, compassion. Similarly, the verb oops, put my glasses on here. Splaknizomai 12 times signifies to have compassion or to show compassion to others. Interestingly, the term originally applied to the intestines or visceral organs, the bowels. When you look at the etymology of the word, it's this idea of people talk about, the feeling, and that's where this comes from. This inner feeling, and it comes from this idea of the word of these particular words. Not that you actually have that there, but in some sense, sometimes the pain or the agony that you feel for someone is felt internally. That is, so Penny, yes, it becomes gut-wrenching. All of our words have some, you start looking at the etymology and its origin, it's like, oh, that's where that comes from, that saying gut-wrenching. There's a reason for that. Yeah, there always is some logical reasoning. Well, I shouldn't say always, but for the most part. But more, as in Acts chapter 1, verse 18, but more popularly in time, it came to indicate deep emotions. And I would highlight that as we have as well on the screen, deep emotions. Nigel Turner, one of Britain's notable scholars, called attention to the fact that among the classical poets of Greek literature, the human feelings depicted are of the rougher sort, that is, anger, fear, or wrath. In the New Testament, however, the contrast, the emphasis is notably different. And so we're going to start for the remainder of our time before we end tonight, look at Jesus and compassion. Any questions so far? All right. It is interesting to observe that the verbal form of this word, and when he says verbal form, what does that suggest? Word of action. So the word which emphasizes the doing of this word is restricted to the gospel records, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and is employed either of Christ himself 9 times, or is woven into his teaching as a commendable emotion to be appreciated and emulated 3 times. The Son of God is the supreme example of one who exercised compassion for the misfortunate. So he's going to, let's take a look now at some examples that Brother Jackson shares with us and talk a little bit about these. On 2 occasions during his ministry, Jesus looked upon the crowds that followed him, noting that they were distressed and scattered as sheep without a shepherd. He thus was moved with compassion. And so in both the Matthew account of chapter 9 and then also in the Mark account, so, you remember in Matthew, the context starts at verse 35, and Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion for them because they were weary and scattered like sheep having no shepherd. And then, of course, the parallel to that is seen in Mark 6, verse 34. France writes, no single English term does justice to it. Compassion, pity, sympathy, fellow feeling all convey part of it, but his heart went out perhaps represents more fully the emotional force of the underlying metaphor of a gut, Penny's words, response. As France wrote on page 373, Jesus understood who he was dealing with. He understood what was at stake, and he just did not approach his listeners intellectually, but he loved them with all of his entire being, and his emotions were involved. He had compassion for them because he understood what was at stake. One of the things that, as we go through this lesson, that I want you to really think about, because it is truly missing, even in the church today, and that is the true understanding of compassion. People tend to do one or two things. We have this one reaction, which we tend to go. The pendulum tends to swing way one way, and everything is nothing more than mashed potatoes without any lumps. Just soupy mashed potatoes. Now you know what I mean by soupy mashed potatoes? You know, soupy mashed potatoes aren't mashed potatoes at all. I don't know. Yeah. But so I'm trying to, you know, so we go this far, you know, everything is all mushy, you know, and that's what compassion has to be, is just, oh, this. Or we go the other direction, and everything is like Ellie Mae Clampett's biscuits, you know. Yeah, hardtack. Or worse than hardtack, because hardtack you can at least chew. Yeah. And if you don't know what Ellie Mae Clampett's biscuits are like, they were lethal weapons. Well, compassion isn't either extreme. And we have to get that in mind. And we need to be careful that we don't go either way, where we are so callous and so cold that we don't want to ever do anything, or we are just so open that we think we have to do everything. We have to let the scriptures, that's not what biblical compassion, and we'll observe Jesus dealing with this as we go through. So top of page 85, Brother Thomas. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. Okay, I know. Young Thomas. So I'm going to do it that. See, there you go. See? Young Thomas.
There was no religious shepherding to be found among the ancient philosophers of the Greek and Roman world. Those writers were like the proverbial blind dog in a dark smokehouse looking for meat not there.
Okay. And I told you, Wayne has this. Yes. Now, he's showing his southern, his southern wit, Dolly, that's right. So, yeah, can you imagine a blind dog? Now, if you ever been in a smokehouse, I mean, woo, you know, it's like, man, it's just that aroma. But a blind dog in a smokehouse looking for meat, and it's not there. You know, the smell calls you to come in, and boy, you know, you just, boy, that smells good. And you sniff all around, and there's nothing to be found. That'd make a hound dog cry. When I read that, I do remember going to my grandfather's down in Louisiana, going into his smokehouse. I mean, he had all kind of stuff hanging, and he said, and I remember him saying, boy, you can cut some stuff off there. Just don't eat too much, you'll get sick. Because I'm just looking, I'm like, I've never seen anything like this. But he was getting ready for winter. All right. I digress. Go ahead, Pat.
Such was likewise the case among the rabbinical instructors of Jesus' day. John 10:13. There is but one shepherd with the ability to gather confused souls into the one flock. Verse 16, and also Acts 20:28. Where the exclusive safety of salvation is to be found. Acts 4:12. One may have compassion for the ignorant who are willing to learn. Such is not easily summoned on behalf of those who have no love of the truth and bask in the pleasure of unrighteousness. 2 Thessalonians 10, verse 2, 10 through 12.
Yeah, you know, we must understand Jesus is the true shepherd, and as such, he's provided the means. He has expressed God's true loving kindness, the place where salvation is found, where heaven's compassion is realized, is in Christ. God's loving kindness is realized by the atonement that he provided. What's the atonement? What's the atonement? Well, better, okay. I said, what's the atonement? Because I didn't want to say, give it away. What's the atonement? Well, no, okay. I work, what'd you say? Yes, the blood of Christ. I didn't want to say if I had said who's the atonement, you would have known. The atonement, so God had compassion on us in that we deserve to do what? We deserve death. You sin, you die. But we were atoned by the blood of Jesus, 1 John chapter 2. His blood, and Patrick he read it, but he didn't read the passage. Acts 20:28. He purchased the church with his own blood. John says he used this word, of which he is our propitiation, 1 John chapter 2, or atoning sacrifice. He is our atonement. We deserve to die, but Paul said, God who is rich in mercy, his compassion for us. And that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. We deserve to die. Every sinner should die. But Jesus shed his blood, and there is the compassion of God. He gives us an opportunity to what? Four-letter word. Live. To have same word, a different way, to have life. God's compassion. God's compassion is still being evidenced every single day in that he gives us an opportunity to serve him. He gives, as long as he keeps his son in heaven, the compassion of God is being shown. Because God's compassion is going to end. And he will then have to he'll send his son. Thanks, James. Okay. There, the middle paragraph of page 85, there were two miracles in Jesus' ministry that involved the miraculous multiplication of small loaves of bread and the diminutive fish. Diminutive sardines, pickled. Yeah, they were those fish were little. How many of you ever seen herring? Eaten herring? They're not very big. Penny, you've had, so you're shaking your head like no? Yeah, sardines, I mean, these fish were not, so most times these pictures who show, that, when they do these images and had these huge, you're coming out with these huge fish. No, that wasn't, they were really small fish that he then, that's what they would normally, that's what they would, so they weren't carried in their, in their lunch basket, these big old, walleyes. But Penny, that, I purposely say, if you look at these so-called pictures that they paint, they don't care about the text. So, but that's right. Say, what did you just say again? Yeah, he was a child. A child with a lunch, with a child's lunch. Yeah, and so he didn't have carrying around no too large. Yeah, no. Hey, look, now I'm gonna tell you. You know what? Even Patrick, this Patrick right here, he's not gonna be coming up, carrying no 2 8-pound catfish. I mean, a 2-pound, Pat, about what? Hold it. A 2-pound catfish is about how big? Seriously. Yeah, right. So a 2-pound catfish by itself, that's pretty good size fish. 2-pound trout is a pretty good size fish. So don't get hung up on those pictures, because that's why Brother Jackson uses the word diminutive, meaning they're small. Yeah, and they were dried. They were salted. Because that's how they had to, in order for them to last. That's the preservative in them. They were salted. And the bread was barley loaves. And if you ever had barley soup, barley, yeah. And so you needed something to push that fish down, and that barley was, I don't know which one did what. I don't know if it was you ate the fish. Yeah. Oh. You fancy cooks ought to try that one day. Just cook some barley bread. Just to get a little taste of what it was that they were. What was that? Was that Pat? Now wait a minute. All right, we're gonna stop right there. Where do you read that they had that he gave him olive oil dip? Where was he carrying his olive oil dip for his barley? Anthony, go ahead and turn the lights up. We're gonna stop there. Yeah, I know. Olive oil. Next thing you know, somebody's gonna want. Well, put a little Parmesan cheese on it. That'll help it. Yeah, that would. Yeah.
Think of the fact that they carried these basically almost in an open air container. They had like
a basket.
Cloth or a basket that they slung around their shoulder.
No.
Shoved it in there, and bread would last. I mean, it would last a long, long time, and that salted fish would last.
Yeah. And Pat, the second thing that you said is really what he probably had. It was the cloth thing that he would sling around his shoulder that they would carry their food, their victuals in. Right. So it was one of those things that would go around them that they would then allow that food to last. And so help keep the flies off. Yeah. No, and you're right, Jerry. That's not a fun. That is practical. All right. So mark the spot there, Lord willing. Next time we'll pick up right. So we'll start at the top of that paragraph. I'm going to put my bookmark there, and that's where we will begin at our next time. And we'll thank you. Good input. Good input. Keep reading ahead and studying. All right. So let me get the announcement sheet, because they've added some new things here. Give me a second.